Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on a book called Social Creature. If you guys watched my books I'm dying to read video, then you'll know I was very excited to read this book. It is not a YA for those who have been asking me to read more YA books. I actually have a lot more reviews on non-YA books, which I think I'll just link in the description, but this is a non-YA book for those who were wondering. And yeah, if you want to know my thoughts, what I thought about the book, an extra commentary, then just keep on watching. All right, so the book follows two characters, Louise and Lavinia. Lavinia is a New York elite. She has this picture-perfect life where basically just money is never an issue. She lives the highest lifestyle in New York. She comes across a girl named Louise. The way that they meet is Lavinia's little sister is in town for, I think, like a vacation, and she was studying for the SAT or something, and Louise is a tutor for that along with other things. She has like 5 different jobs, and so Louise goes over, and then it just turns into the whirlwind where Lavinia is like, oh, I like you, I'm gonna bring you into this massive party scene and everything, and I'm going to pay for everything and give you my clothes and all this kind of stuff, and it just turns into this scandal-filled whirlwind story. Starting off with the non-spoiler part of the book, I really enjoyed this one. Actually, it kind of gave me a You vibe in the sense of, sorry, by You as in the Caroline Kemp's book, in the sense of not only the actual dialogue in the book, not necessarily, it wasn't explicitly like that, but the air of the book kind of gave me that vibe, and just the fact that it was set in New York and it was one of those thrillers that kind of involved a lot of money also kind of tipped me off on that. And you guys know I'm a sucker for any kind of scandal thriller filled with drama, and is always, if it's set in New York, I always feel like it's going to be really good. So I had really high hopes for this book, and I think that it actually did deliver. I really enjoyed everything about it, and I'm trying to think, what can I say non-spoiler wise that would really tip off people to pick it up. I think one of the main things that I did like about it so much is the original storyline and the arc end halfway through the book, and then it turns into something completely different, and it's not boring, which I was really impressed by. Usually when they kind of try to like, oh, the ending is already here, we're gonna pull one over on you, it ends up being really boring and slow paced past that. But I think it's Tara Burton did a really great job at following up that with an equally as interesting and well-paced and exciting second half of the book. All in all, if you enjoy books like, if you enjoyed Suicide Notes for Beautiful Girls, Bad Girls with Perfect Faces, or I Died for 13 Minutes and Now I Want to Know Why, those kind of books, I think you'll really enjoy this. As well, if you enjoyed You by Caroline Kemp, you'll really like this one. I will say though, it's not necessarily, it's not a YA book. So if you're not interested in non-YA books, then maybe don't pick this one up. But I really do think even if you are the biggest fan of just exclusively reading YA, I would still say maybe go to the library and pick this up, because I think it really is worth it. I really did enjoy the story. For those that did read the book, or if you haven't read the book and just aren't planning to, going into the spoiler section of the story, I'm just going to give a quick synopsis for anybody who's just not going to read it and wants to know what kind of happens. So what ends up happening is Louise and Lavinia are living this super high life. They're going to all of these parties and meeting all of these people, and Louise actually meets a guy that she really likes, and she doesn't know that it's Lavinia's ex. And what we learn later in the book is that Lavinia actually really did not take this breakup well. She was on medication, and that's why she's on sabbatical. Not because she was taking a sabbatical for her book, which is what her initial reason was to Louise. She was like, I'm taking a sabbatical to read a book, and I feel too stressed with school to be able to work on it, so that's why I'm doing it. But in reality, her sabbatical was because she went off her rocker after the guy broke up with her. I'm just gonna name him Josh because I can't remember his name, and I'm pretty sure it started with a J. So Louise finds this out after, or after the fact, in the sense of Josh like tells her, or I believe it was Lavinia. Someone told her that Josh and Lavinia were together at one point. So Louise realizes after another woman tells her that Lavinia has these friends like Louise for about 6 to 8 months, where she'll be best friends with them. She can't be with anybody else, like brings them everywhere, buys them shit, buys them clothes, lets them stay in her house. They last for about 6 to 8 months, and then she gets rid of them. And the one before Louise was named Mimi, who is a girl that had been introduced in the storyline as someone who was like dying to get Lavinia back. So Louise realizes that she has to completely ignore Josh. Like, Josh does not matter. Louise is like, I have bills to pay. Before Lavinia, Louise was dirt poor, was barely making her way, and was making no progress with writing. But with Lavinia, she was able to have financial security enough to try to continue writing, and then the connections within Lavinia's inner circle to actually get her stuff published. So she realized, like, screw Josh, I need to do whatever Lavinia wants because I have to. And even though Lavinia's crazy and she's almost like a sociopath, she basically did everything that Lavinia wanted because she needed to. While she was doing this, though, she would obviously get frustrated and annoyed because sometimes Lavinia would, throughout the story, she would be paying for a lot of things, but if Louise didn't agree on something or didn't do something, Lavinia would actively be like, or actively not take the tab. And for Louise, a $200 tab on champagne is something that, while she can physically afford it, it's something she can't really actually afford. So Louise started actually taking money out of Lavinia's bank card account because Lavinia had given her a bank card. And so she continued to do this every couple weeks while she's continuing to live with Lavinia. And then at one party, they get in a spat, and it turns out that Lavinia knew the entire time that Louise was taking money out of her account. And as they're having this fight, Josh messages Louise because I think it was the day before Louise had decided on a whim to go to the Met with Josh, and Josh had messaged like, had a great time that night, or had a great time at the Met, maybe we should do it again sometime soon. So Lavinia goes berserk, they get physical in a bathroom, and Lavinia actually ends up dead, which was something I didn't think was going to happen. I thought Lavinia was going to be the one that was crazy, and it was going to be a story where you follow Louise, who was just so desperate for money, she'll do anything. And I thought it was just going to get really dark, and that Lavinia maybe had a dark past, and Louise would have to do things for her in order to keep the money coming. But it turned out to be the complete opposite. So what ends up happening is Louise actually takes Lavinia's dead body, pretends that she's drunk, takes her back to Lavinia's apartment, puts her in the bathtub, which, if she was smart, I would have thought that she would have just put her in the bathtub, filled the bathtub, and then pretended that she had killed herself. But that's actually not what she did. She put her in, I think it was a trash disposal or something, like something very gross. She said something about bones crunching, and I was like, oh, like it's a little too graphic for me. And what Louise decides to do is she pretends that Lavinia is still alive by going on all of her social media, and I think she pretended that she was away on a retreat or something, trying to find herself and cure herself. And Louise was basically handling all of Lavinia's social media, while Louise was using all of her credit cards, using her place. It was honestly super creepy. So she continues to see Josh after this, and is like seeing him and living this high life, and is fronting like there's nothing wrong. And then one of the woman who initially told Louisa about the shelf life of 6 to 8 months for each of Lavinia's friends actually finds out that Louise has Lavinia's credit card. So she has to start sending the woman money every month or whenever she needs money, because why was it? I think she was just going to out her that she had Lavinia's card, and that could be suspicious. So Louise is pretty much continuing to live her life. She actually becomes friends with Mimi at one point, and you're following everything kind of going on, and you're like, where is this going to go? And it turns out that Lavinia's sister comes back, and from there on, a bunch of stuff happens that isn't really that big of a deal. Like, she's trying to find her sister. It turns out that she actually does figure it out because of, I think she actually doesn't explicitly figure it out, but she does just assume. She's like, my sister isn't alive anymore. And what ends up happening is she finds out, because Louise has Lavinia's phone, after Louise, and I'm sorry, this is such a all-around explanation. It's just the book is there's a lot of things going on, so it's hard to really give a point-to-point storyline without kind of getting jumbled and mixed up. But Louise and Josh get into a fight, and remember, Louise has Lavinia's phone. Josh actually messaged Lavinia being like, I want you back, da-da-da this, da-da-da that, and Louise ends up going crazy, and Louise actually ends up killing Josh. And then from there, she pretty much runs away. She changes, she gets a fake ID, she gets a wig, and she runs off before she can be caught, while Lavinia's sister is sitting there telling everybody, my sister is dead. And I honestly loved this book. I loved everything about it, and now that the synopsis is done, God, this is going to be a long video. Now that the synopsis is done, we'll get into the things that I liked and didn't like. So one of the first things that I enjoyed was that the story extended a lot further than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to end with either Louise or Lavinia dying, but it went way further than I expected, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't a twist that I didn't enjoy or found was slow paced or boring or not really meant to be in the book. I thought everything about the extension was so interesting. I like the, I guess you could call them mini twists. I didn't expect Louise to be the one that was nuts. I also didn't expect Louise to keep up Lavinia's life after she killed Lavinia. I thought she was just going to maybe put a bunch of pills in Lavinia and then put her in a bathtub and then just say that she killed herself. But she just continued to pretend that she was alive, which was nuts to read about. After Lavinia's death, I also almost thought that it was going to be something where Louise was able to change herself to look like Lavinia, because throughout the book it was mentioned time and time again how much they looked alike when after Louise had dyed her hair properly. So it made sense with when she was posting like blurry photos of her on Instagram pretending to be Lavinia on Lavinia's account. But I definitely do like that they didn't take that route, because I just feel like that wouldn't have made sense, because Louise had been so present in Lavinia's inner circle. I feel like everyone would have been able to tell that it wasn't Lavinia. Another thing I didn't think would happen was I didn't think that she actually would kill the boyfriend. I thought that Louise had reached a point where she genuinely didn't care if he loved her or not and just kind of wanted his company, but I guess she did, because after she found out, she just drowned him in the what was it, in the lake or ocean? Yeah, I did not see that coming whatsoever. I thought that she was just going to kind of keep him going, or at the way that the book was going, I honestly thought that he was going to go nuts too, and then they were going to go be nuts together. Also, this was a part of the book that I was a little bit confused by. So when Louise and Mimi were talking, Mimi is, I believe, either lesbian or bisexual. I think she's bisexual. And Mimi actually liked Lavinia, and Lavinia did this to both Mimi and Louise when they were in the theater. She how do I explain this without, I hate that word that I'm gonna have to use. I'm not gonna use it, I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. Them in the theater, and it was done apparently to make Rex, oh my god, his name is Rex, not Josh. It's Rex, oh my god, I hate myself. Okay, his name is Rex, not Josh. Did it to make Rex jealous. And my thing is, though, why would she do that twice? And on top of that, Lavinia was also hiding that she had gotten with Rex's best friend, which is something I totally forgot to mention. And that's actually why Mimi had gotten booted from it, because she had walked in, or booted from Lavinia's group, because she caught Lavinia with the guy, and Lavinia just went, okay, you're gone, see you later. So I almost wonder, was Lavinia hiding that she was bisexual? Because why would she do that twice? And how does that even make Rex jealous? It didn't really make any sense. And she was already hiding one part of her sex life. It would kind of make sense that she was there, but I'm not really sure, to be completely honest. I don't know if that was queer baiting in the book, or if it was just her being, I don't even know. That was a part that I think maybe was left to interpretation, or maybe it just wasn't even that important in the book and I'm overlooking it. But that was probably one of the only parts of the book that I was like, what? All in all, I really, really enjoyed this book. I couldn't recommend it more. I really did just think it was a wild ride of a book with great pacing, great mystery, it was just a great thriller. I really did enjoy it. It was just a classic good thriller. And if you're into thrillers set in New York, featuring people with a lot of money and a lot of things to lose, then I would definitely recommend it. Could not recommend it more in that case. But if you enjoyed this video, or actually if you read the book, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you haven't read it, let me know if you're going to be reading it. And yeah, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. If you like me, you can follow me outside of YouTube on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, which are all Casey Aonso. And I will see you guys in the next one.